NinjaTrader. Pros of NinjaTrader. First of all, it integrates with a large number of data feeds and brokers, and people are very happy with kind of that level of integration. Some of the data providers there and the brokers that are supported are extremely good. NinjaTrader came out of this kind of background of advanced kind of trade management, and I must say, what they've been able to do from a very simple kind of trade management kind of add-on tool to create what they have has been quite extraordinary over the last few years. They have a Superdome, which is extremely good, and the advanced trade management kind of features that are added in. So scaling in, scaling out, stop losses, profit targets, managing all of those things in a very complicated, in a very kind of sophisticated way is very elegantly done and well done by NinjaTrader. They now also have a huge list of third-party tools that are supported. Or kind of second best in the industry, I would say. All the Eurek tools are there, MT Predictors there, K-Statware and so on, all of those products, plus a whole bunch more are kind of listed. And they also have an extremely active forum, so a lot of questions getting asked and answered there, which is good. In terms of cons with NinjaTrader, the script language I don't find particularly easy. I think it's better than some, but it's not as good as Easy Language. It's called NinjaScript, and it's kind of a derivative of C#. I'm not a big fan, but it works and is very powerful. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you're used to it, then I'd say it'll work, and it'll work well. Personally, I don't like the look of the charts. I think there are other charting platforms that look nicer. That's probably a little bit of a criticism I've had with eSignal as well. In the older versions that I've used in the past, didn't particularly like the look of the charts. But to be honest, that's a cosmetic thing. You get used to it and you make it work and you customize it for yourself. The other thing in terms of automated trading and backtesting, all the functionality is definitely there within NinjaTrader, and certainly kind of the automated trading was one of kind of the early features that they had. But I've heard good and bad reports about that, so just bear that in mind and do test it. One of the advantages of using NinjaTrader is you can definitely get it for free and up and running straight away. You'd have to get some data feed kind of input into it, but very low barriers to entry in terms of starting to use NinjaTrader. You can get a lifetime kind of license for it, ranging from $1,000 to $1,200 based on the version that you want to use. And then the monthly kind of charges range from $50 to $60 per month, which is pretty low for the software. On top of that, you'll need to add on your data feed charges, which will be anywhere from $60 upwards per month, and your kind of small exchange feeds. Lastly, TradeStation pros and cons. The pros, as I see it, of TradeStation are it's an integrated charting and data feed. Years ago, 10 years ago, data feeds used to be a real royal pain in the neck. They were always dropping out, they were poor in terms of quality, you would lose data, wouldn't have historic data. Tick data and doing any kind of analysis on historical tick data was an absolute nightmare. When TradeStation incorporated their kind of data feed, that for me took out a huge headache of the charting platform. Their data feed is also extremely good. High quality data, rock solid. I like it. It also has volume traded at the bid and the ask, and it was one of the very first data feeds to incorporate this. And frankly, that's a valuable piece of information that you need to be making decisions on. If you know anything about the better indicators, they're based on price, average trade size, and volume traded at the bid and the ask. For me, it's the only three pieces of data you get from the exchange. You need three pieces, indicators to measure those three non-correlated things, and so having access to that data is an important criteria for me. There's now also the integrated kind of broker and automated trading functionality. So once they added in their own data feed, they also added in a brokerage. Now they did this as a business decision in order to, because the money's made on the brokerage side, it's not made on the charting software side. So by becoming a broker, which was a huge step for them, and I think took their eye off the ball in terms of the development of the platform for a couple of years, which subsequently they've fixed. Having that integrated broker for some people is a huge advantage. It also means the automated trading is kind of, because you've got that kind of inbuilt functionality, it all is there and it works. Not to say that automated trading is easy by any means. There's a lot of twists and turns when it comes to figuring out automated trading, but in terms of the likelihood of you getting it right with an integrated broker is going to be higher. Script language, I've mentioned this easy language, I find it very easy to use. You get kind of the minimum number of lines to do a particular indicator or system, and the less complicated the code, the less mistakes you're going to make, and the easier it's going to be to troubleshoot. So if you're into or want to get into kind of designing your own indicators and systems and so on, that is a point worth really understanding. Plus, TradeStation have an extremely active forum, so if you're trying to get questions answered, or people have asked questions in the past, figuring out the answer to, and I've done this a whole bunch of times, I got a particular question or aspect to the charting platform or easy language that I need to understand. You do a search on the forum, and you'll 9 times out of 10 you'll get the question has been answered previously, so that's worth bearing in mind. And then they have an extremely extensive third-party tools. Because easy language is a very powerful and an easy language, easy script to use, and plus TradeStation have been around for so long, a lot of third-party developers have developed tools for this, and I think the list is almost too large to kind of go through. It's 300 plus type third-party tool providers. In terms of cons, they are quite US-centric in terms of the data feeds. If you want your Italian bonds, you're going to have to go elsewhere to get that data. They are getting better though. They're having improved in terms of the coverage of data feeds. They now have kind of fundamental data for stocks, commitment of traders, which data was not available for years and years and years, is now available, and they're getting on top of the European kind of markets. So they're starting to get in terms of the DAX and the German markets and so on. So that's kind of changing. Mixing symbols and timeframes, this has always been a kind of limitation of TradeStation, and I understand historically why they did this. They did this because with an automated trading system, they want to make sure that you cannot take a trade based on a piece of data that has not actually taken place yet. So end of day kind of data, different exchanges needs to match up. If you're chasing down an automated trading system using kind of multiple data streams from different exchanges or time zones and so on, TradeStation doesn't want you to do historic back testing assuming that a trade could have taken place when the data actually hadn't been disseminated from the exchange yet. So that's why they're a little bit of a Nazi in terms of mixing symbols and timeframes. I understand where it comes from. If you want to do some of that stuff and have kind of looser rules, multi-charts is the way to go. They're a lot freer in terms of that. Backtesting used to be a strength of TradeStation, still is, but the cutting edge in terms of backtesting is being able to backtest on portfolios. So let's say trading a particular system on the S&P 500 stocks individually. What does the equity curve and what the performance figures look like there? So I think they're kind of falling a little bit behind, but they're well aware of what the customer wants. So I'm sure within time they'll have those things. And then if you're not using the TradeStation brokerage service, this is an expensive option. So just bear that in mind. In terms of the costs, if you do 10 round-trip contracts on futures, E-minis, or whatever it might be in a month, the platform, the charting software, is free. If you don't do that, if you're signed up as a brokerage customer, I think, and you don't do those 10 round-trip contracts, I think it's $100. If you're not signed up as brokerage customers, it costs you $250 a month, this particular charting software. On top of that, you're going to have data fees. Some people kind of complain about the data feeds costs. For extra, most of the things are in there in terms of all the equities and forex is all free, but if you want the full kind of E-mini package, that's $25 per month. If you want some extra add-ons, that'll be $30 a month. I don't think it's a huge cost, but some people do kind of think it's a little bit of a liberty to charge extra for those things. And then don't forget you've got your exchange fees. Now, do they kind of rip you off in terms of the brokerage costs in order to kind of make up for the software? I think in years gone by they were a little bit rich in terms of the brokerage commissions, but now they're down at $4.70 for an E-mini round trip, and to be honest, that's competitive. So I don't have a problem with them kind of charging me that and then giving me the software for free. So then, just as a last kind of summary here, cost is definitely important. I'll just run through the cost of each of these programs kind of in summary. But if you don't have the functionality that you require for your particular style of trading, none of these that has to be your first criteria. Choose the software package that has the functionality that you require for your style of trading. Otherwise, you'll always be dissatisfied. The cost then becomes a second kind of order decision-making factor.